In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. George Orwell. Yeah. This is Blood Politics. The only podcast where we don't talk about politics. We be about politics. And our mission statement is to empower, educate, and encourage.
I don't think we need too much of an intro today, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think we need too much of an intro today. I mean, just like you, waking up to the sounds and the reports of war in Iran, with Iran, strikes in retaliation, much like they said that they were going to do. So I figured I'd pop on, give you guys a little bit of an update, go through it myself, because let's face it, it's an ongoing issue. It is still unfolding as we speak. So let's all get into it together. What do you say? Hit that like button. That way everybody knows we're live. I'm only going to be live for a little bit. I know Hal's got his show coming on at 12. So I'm not going to be, I won't overlap Hal's show. So I just wanted to pop on just for a little bit beforehand. And then we can toss you guys over to Hal's show a little bit beforehand. That way you guys don't miss that. But just wanted to pop on and give everybody, obviously, the updates that I'm sure you're aware of now. If you haven't been aware of, then you may have just woken up. But yes, early this morning, strikes were conducted against Iran. Iran, in retaliation, has struck Israel, Bahrain, UAE, Qatar, in retaliation, like they said they were going to all of the U.S. bases in the area and other strikes that have been going on. We've been watching missile interceptions in Tel Aviv. So it is kicked off, ladies and gentlemen, much like we thought it was going to do. This is no surprise. This is no shock. What is shocking, I do believe, is the rhetoric and the statement made by Donald Trump, just blatantly and outright calling for the citizens of Iran to stay in their houses, stay in their fucking places, because bombs are going to be falling everywhere. But when you think the bombing is done, that's when you should come out and take over your country. That's when you should overthrow your government and your regime. I mean, quite literally the statement from the President of the United States. As we find out about this mission undertaken. Let me see if I can throw this on the screen, because there's a lot to go over, a lot to go through. Let me see. This is one of them I wanted to do. OSINT's been doing a pretty good job of keeping everybody filled in on this. So we're going to use a little bit of his reporting to start. I know there's CNN updates. There's updates all over the fucking place. So what do you say we just dive into it a little bit? This is probably, I think this is the first post that I could see as far as looking at what is going on here. This was 9 hours ago by OSINT defender. Israel Defense Minister Katz has declared an immediate state of emergency throughout the entire country. And then just before that, you can see that early reports now that Israel has launched preemptive strikes on Iran, as reports of intense explosions heard across Tehran, Iran's capital. Come in, more to come. And then you can see here the pictures and the video start flowing in. Multiple explosions are reported across the Iranian capital of Tehran. Here's one of the early pictures and photos posted by the OSINT defender there on Twitter. Obviously, much more to come as far as that's concerned. Just ridiculous reports of schools being hit. Obviously, these are the initial reports. There's a lot to digest. There's a lot to unpack here. Here's another one of the videos. Let me see. I'll just play it from the beginning here. You can see the strike in the background there. Again, there's ongoing and live feeds here from, let me see. I'll take the sound off of that one. My apologies. But I think this one here is a live feed from Tel Aviv of the ongoing interceptions from incoming missiles. I think, let me see here if I can go live. Because not that long ago, the sirens were going off. See if I can catch the strike here. Oh, it's tough. They've been going so long that it's tough to catch up on the exact moment there. But, I mean, there's a ton to catch up on. What do you guys think? I mean, obviously, I don't believe anybody's surprised that this was going to take place. We've brought up multiple reports, whether it was from back channels, people's, or, anonymous reports saying that this was imminent. This was just hours away. So I think we were pretty close as far as the days on when this was going to take place. I mean, the buildup there of U.S. forces only said one thing. It really didn't take too much to read between the lines as far as that's concerned. Here's another one here. Additional footage from downtown Tehran as Israel's preemptive strikes against Iran. No confirmation on whether or not this was a unilateral Israeli action or joint U.S. This was the early reports here as these films were coming in, as the videos were coming in. So obviously we know a little bit more than that, considering what the president has said and what we know about the joint attack with Israel. So let's take a look at this clip here. Again, these are all the video clips that were coming in pretty early on in these strikes. So again, take it with a grain of salt here. So clear evidence of a massive strike in that area as well. It goes on. You can see here people clearly walking around, people clearly in the square after launching preemptive strikes against Iran. Israel has now declared a state of emergency nationwide. Again, this was 9 hours ago, so I'm just trying to catch you up on the timeline. Likely an expectation of an Iranian retaliation, which we did see. It's not yet clear what was hit downtown Tehran, but reports indicate that the areas of University Street in Geopolitical have been targeted. Again, these are the early reports. So again, we're just trying to walk you through the timeline. I know we know more than this already in the information. So again, just walking you through the pictures and stuff that has come out since this morning. Here's another one 9 hours ago. Two big updates. Israeli media outlets have now said that several assassination strikes are and were carried out against Iran. New York Times and Wall Street Journal confirmed that it is indeed a joint U.S.-Israeli operation. More to come. Again, so the information coming in pretty hot and heavy as far as who's responsible for it, as we kind of suspected, obviously. Here's another report, unconfirmed report. I think this has been confirmed to this point. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that one. There's been a few names been tossed out as far as assassinations, as far as been confirmed, either by the Israeli or the U.S. side. But this is Amir Hatami. That the Iran's defense minister may have been targeted in the initial decapitation strikes. Again, forgive me if the reporting on that is kind of inconsistent. Fox News is also saying that sources tell them that Iran's supreme leader has been moved out of Tehran to a secure location. That was 8 hours ago. And again, you can see the ongoing video coming in. Here's some footage of as Iran implements an infinitive NOTAM, closing the entirety of their airspace. IRIAF MiG-29s have been spotted over Tehran, the capital of Iran. Here's the video of that. Again, a lot of these just short, quick videos coming in from the initial strike, in the initial response. We'll get into more of the more prominent footage of the strikes that you've been seeing, I'm sure, since you've been watching it this morning. In just a second here, and again, going on, you can see the airspace around Iran and how they've been monitoring that. And look at the area around it. You know what I mean? Look at the area around it. That's crazy. As strikes are ongoing in Iran, all flights over Iran and Iraq have now diverted. And again, here's a little picture, a little clip of Trump speaking, and the fucking shit that he was saying. We probably should dive into just a second of it, because this is some wild shit. We won't listen to the full 8 minutes, but some of the stuff that he's saying in here is just out fucking landish, to say the least. I mean, this stuff is not normally what you'd hear the president say in front of the cameras. Like, typically, this is what they're talking about behind the scenes when they're lying to us about weapons of mass destruction. But this is fucking crazy. Hey, don't worry, Iranians. Stay in your houses as we drop bombs everywhere. But again, as soon as you think the bomb is done, that's when you can come out, and that's when you should take over your city. And again, implores them to do so, because this may be the best opportunity they have in decades. And again, some of this stuff is just absolutely fucking wild. Check
bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days.
So a little bit to justify the strikes. He goes on.
And guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on...
Still using justification. He goes on.
Didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue
again, that nuclear program that was completely and totally obliterated, ladies and gentlemen. That exact nuclear program that was so obliterated, it was never to be thought of again. It was it was dust in the wind. It was a fart in your pants that just couldn't fucking be put back together. You know, you couldn't cram it back in there. But now all of a sudden, they're like right on the cusp of being able to strike us again with the nuclear weapon. Somehow they've managed to put that together in their fucking little policy that they can come out in one place and say that they obliterated it and now justify this fucking strike, this war that we're now in, full-fledged bombing fucking civilians war here that we're in, and say that they're this close again to having a nuclear weapon and nuclear capabilities. I mean, how do they understand? Do they understand how stupid they sound? They understand that they're not getting it over on us. Like we just heard what you said not that long ago. We do remember what you said as far as it being obliterated. But please do go on and try to justify that they're going to be, within what, an hour, 2 hours, going to have another nuclear weapon.
Developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons.
We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I'll see if I can catch that moment where he does instruct the Iranian people to take over their country here.
To prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship
speed it up
from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated.
Right, Handy Girl. Handy Girl says, since when does he care about Europe? Great point. Great fucking point. But again, this is all bullshit used as justification. Again, we're no friends, they're no allies of the Iranian regime. Let's just get that fucking clear, plain and clear right off the fucking bat. But again, as we're engaged in negotiations, as we're engaged in talks, right? As we've known over the years that they've agreed to, allow people to come and inspect this and that, to look at what exactly that they're doing. Right. And again, as we're trying to get this done through diplomacy to try to justify strikes like this, which was from the jump something that Benjamin Netanyahu was fucking dying to have happen. Right. Let's just put it out there and be clear about it. This is a wish list put in front of Donald Trump by Benjamin Netanyahu. And this is Donald Trump jumping because Benjamin Netanyahu said jump. Right? Donald Trump's just asking how high in this point and trying to show himself again as being this fucking strong world leader that will do anything and everything to anybody he seems, deems to be against the United States. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how many U.S. servicemen and women he has to put in danger. And again, our hearts and thoughts and prayers and hearts and minds go out to the U.S. servicemen and women now engaged as pawns in this fucking game by Donald Trump, by Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm sure there are many in the chat right now and many that are going to be watching this later that have a friend, that have a son, that have a daughter, that have a niece, that have a nephew, that have an aunt, that have an uncle, that have a father or a mother now stationed somewhere, now serving somewhere in this area, now engaged in this war. Whether they're stationed in Iraq or UAE or wherever they may be, they might just be on a base somewhere that is now being targeted by Iran in retaliation for what the United States and Israel have done. So it's your family members. It's the people that swore an oath to protect this country that are now being put in harm's way. It's not Donald Trump. It's not Pete Hegseth, right? Not any of these fat losers. It's the youngest and brightest in this fucking country, your friends, your family, like we've talked about, that are now in those jets, that are now on those aircraft carriers, right? That are now at those U.S. bases all over the Middle East. And that's who's going to pay the price ultimately, as well as citizens, innocent child, women, all of it, as we've already seen by multiple reports already from some of the strikes that have taken place in the places that they have struck. So again, I mean, it's asinine to even to suggest that there's any justification again as talks are ongoing to make it seem like this was the last resort and there was no other option is just not the fucking case. It's just not the truth.
We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called.
And again, there's been reports that the Houthis have stated that they're now going to, once again, start attacking shipping through the strait there in the south of Iran. So basically, that's going to have a huge impact, as well as this whole thing on global trade, global shipping, that type of stuff. Anything that goes through that port, that area, is going to be impacted by this, which is just another aspect, another thing being reported as far as retaliation, as far as these strikes are concerned.
Called to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
Which is what you said they were already at, the level that they were already at, what, weeks ago? How long ago was that strike now? How long ago was that strike and it was completely obliterated?
This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration.
No, you didn't.
And there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication.
Absolutely no thanks to you.
My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war, but we're doing this.
Hey, they might have casualties, and just to pop over, this is what we were talking about earlier. Israel strikes 2 schools in Iran, killing more than 50 people. State media says Israeli attacks on a girls' school in the city of Minab in the south of the country kills dozens. His photos from that strike right there. This image taken is a grab taken from the Iranian state television broadcast on February 28, 2026. Shows what it says is the site of the deadly U.S. and Israeli strike that hit a girls' elementary school in Minab in the southern Iranian province of Hormozgan. Excuse me if I'm butchering that, near the strategic sea route of the Strait of Hormuz, which is the strait that I was just speaking of, in which the Houthis said that they were going to continue striking shipping. An Israeli strike hit an elementary girls' school in Manab, the city of Hormozgan province in southern Iran, killing at least 53 people, according to state media, as the immediate civilian cost for the Israeli and United States' huge bombardment of Iran comes into sharper focus. Workers are continuing to clear wreckage from the site, where 63 others were injured on Saturday, said Iran's state-run IRNA news agency. The strike is part of the wave of joint U.S.-Israeli military attacks across Iran that has triggered an outbreak of regional violence. And again, we should probably, and just to get the headline out there one more time, this is Al Jazeera reporting. And again, this is from CNN. Here's just kind of a quick update on all this, and I'll be keeping my eye on the time. That way we don't run into Hal's show, and you guys can hop over there for his radio show as well. But all right, let's dive into a little bit of this. Here's just a quick update on what we've seen take place so far and what we could look at going forward here, and how long this is going to take, what the United States is saying as far as longevity of this mission. Let's see if we can get a little bit more detail in this.
Explosions rocked multiple cities across Iran, including its capital, Tehran. Videos from Tehran show smoke. You see it here billowing over the city. And now we're getting reports of explosions in Gulf Arab countries hosting U.S. military bases. Live look now at Abu Dhabi, where explosions were reported, in addition to Bahrain and Qatar. A video now of an explosion in Bahrain. Officials say a missile hit the service center of the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet in the country. These strikes happened barely a day after the latest round of indirect nuclear talks between Iran and the U.S. And sources tell CNN the U.S. military is planning for these attacks to last for days. Israel said the same, and both President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are now calling for regime change.
To the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
I don't know quite what to say to that. I really don't. I'm just not sure quite how to respond to that level of fucking arrogance and blatant fucking corruption and I like, what are we doing at this point? Like, are we fucking living on the same planet? Does anybody realize what was just said there? Does anybody recognize what's going on here? Like, do we know how insane that? Like, I don't even know if you can't go back in history and see like the worst of the worst world leaders say shit like this. Like, I don't. When is the last time we heard a president call for the direct overthrowing after we bomb the shit out of them, telling you, hey, stay in your house. You may die in the bombing, but if you don't die in the bombing, that we're going to bomb the shit out of you guys. If you somehow survive all that, please do come out when the bombing is done and see if you can then overthrow your government, overthrow your regime. That's wild shit. I mean, I'm sorry. I know we've been desensitized. I know it's been normalized. I know we've been fucking kind of used to this shit for a long time as far as, you know, United States military action is concerned, and, you know, with going around Congress, not declaring war. I know we're fucking all desensitized to that, but I want you to understand how fucking absurd these statements are. Okay, one more time on that one. I was trying to look for it in the longer clip, but I didn't want to make you guys suffer. But listen to this absolute fucking insanity, will you please?
Ron, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
Iran media reported just hours ago that Iran already launched dozens of ballistic missiles at Israel. And Qatari officials say that Qatar already intercepted 2 Iranian missiles, indicating Iran is carrying out that plan to retaliate. And our team is up and covering this breaking story from around the world. We'll get to Zach Cohen and Elena Trine in just a moment. But I want to start with CNN's Jeremy Diamond first. He's in Tel Aviv. Jeremy, have any of the Iron Dome intercepted any of those missiles? Is there a timing on when those might arrive?
Well, we certainly know that Iran has already fired a barrage of ballistic missiles at Israel. We had sirens going off not only here in Tel Aviv, but also in Jerusalem, in northern Israel, in southern Israel, pretty much Israelis everywhere across the country, millions heading to bomb shelters as those ballistic missiles came in. It does appear that there were several intercepts. We have not yet gotten reports of any actual impacts as a result of those ballistic missiles. But all of this kicked off this morning around 8:15 a.m. local time. Israelis were woken to the sound of sirens, not announcing incoming missiles, but rather alerting Israelis to this new state of emergency that is in place as Israel announced that it had struck targets in Iran. We then quickly learned that it was not just Israel, but that these are joint strikes carried out by the United States and the Israeli militaries, targeting a range of targets inside of Iran. I'm told that there were dozens of targets that were struck by both militaries. We have been watching, of course, for weeks now as the United States has been carrying out this enormous military buildup in the region, but simultaneously a diplomatic track was...
And again, to go with that reporting, there was some reporting here by, let me throw this up, by OSINT here of some of those targets. And if we go up here through some of the other videos, here's some of the other videos that are coming out. We'll go through those if we got time before I can get you guys out of here. But there were some reports of some of the targets that they were going after. Let's see. Iranian source told Reuters that several IRGC and civilian decision makers have been killed in the decapitation strike so far. It is unclear who, but some reports indicate that a senior official within Iran's nuclear negotiations framework, Ali Shahkani, may be one of them. This comes as reciprocal strikes between the U.S. and Israel and Iran continue. So again, these are just the preliminary reports of that. But I do think there are, like, here's one of them as well. According to assessments, Mohammed Pakpour, the commander of the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, has been eliminated by Israeli decapitation strikes on Tehran. So here's another one that was 5 hours ago. I think there was a couple more, if I'm not mistaken, that have either been reported and or confirmed. Again, excuse me, because I know a lot of the reporting is kind of iffy at this stage. A lot of people trying to figure out the answers and reporting and speculating on the answers, but not really having that confirmation. This was 4 hours ago. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Dan Kane are monitoring the U.S. Strike campaign against Iran from Mar-a-Lago. Jesus fucking Christ. From fucking Mar-a-Lago. We're literally conducting the war from the same place that the underage girls were poached from the spa at Mar-a-Lago. That is where the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the fucking Defense Secretary are conducting this war from, monitoring this war from, is fucking Mar-a-Lago. Is the equipment not good at the Pentagon? Do they need a bigger budget? Do they not have the available fucking equipment to conduct and to monitor this campaign, this fucking war that they've initiated from the Pentagon? Am I crazy to think that from Mar-a-Lago is diabolical? Like, that's wild shit. Okay, that is wild shit. And I'm sure it's been fucking set up for the fucking asshole president to communicate and this and that. But still, do you want it to be fucking known that you're conducting and monitoring this fucking war at the same place that Jeffrey Epstein was poaching underage girls from the spa at Mar-a-Lago? Is that something you want out there? Holy fucking shit. What an absolute clown show this is. What an absolute fucking clown show. From Mar-a-Lago, where President Trump is currently located, a source familiar with the matter has told Reuters. I knew he was there. I didn't know that like our entire fucking Joint Chiefs of Staff and everybody else was monitoring it from Mar-a-Lago while they sip champagne and what? They're on the fucking 9th tee? What's going on here? What the fuck are we doing? Good grief. Congress, anybody? Congress, I mean, how many paragraphs into a strongly worded letter is Chuck Schumer? Or is he currently still celebrating in his fucking living room? I don't know. Maybe he has to stop tap dancing in his living room from these strikes before he can even start writing the strongly worded letter he's going to tell us about in a little bit. The headquarters of the U.S. Fifth Fleet, naval support activity, Bahrain and Jafar, have been reportedly been heavily targeted by ballistic missiles fired from Iran. So this is where you start getting into the retaliation from Iran on the bases in and around the area, in which we had already talked about, in which they had already pre-told all of the surrounding nations, hey, listen, if we get fucking attacked, you guys have U.S. bases in your country, right? So those U.S. bases, we're going to fucking strike, just to let you know. If we get attacked, we're going to retaliate, right? So again, that this is something that isn't a surprise, isn't a shock, and has been known was going to be a possibility in response to these strikes if we conduct them as we have. All right, here's just one quick video. A lot of these are just quick little videos from the retaliatory strikes here.
Missile threat warning. Closet shelter immediately. Shelter in place. Missile threat warning. Closet shelter immediately. Shelter in place.
So again, that's footage from the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet and Naval Support Activity, Bahrain and Jafar, reportedly being heavily targeted by ballistic missiles fired from Iran. Here's another one video showing an impact and aftermath of Iranian missile strike against the U.S. Fifth Fleet Naval Support Activity installation in Bahrain after the first few waves of U.S.-Israeli strikes. Strikes are now ongoing as both sides exchange fire. At this time, Iran has targeted U.S. bases and infrastructure in every ally and partner nation in the local region. Here's another couple of those videos.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Okay.
Sounds like an American there speaking in the background as well, unless it's somebody that speaks really good English. Here's another one of the videos.
يا علي يا علي ضربت يا علي يا علي سامي ده تحمل مسؤولية أنت تحمل مسؤولية الحين روحهم مساعة نقول لك احنا لو صار نشي احنا داخل احنا لو صار نشي داخل من هو المسؤول نقول لك كلمهم خلنا نمشي روح جيب السيارة يا علي يا.
So again, in case you're just joining us, we're just kind of going over some of the footage that has come out from these strikes here. Here's another one of the OSINT Defenders posts here. Since this morning's joint strike campaign on Iran by Israel and the United States, Iran has launched retaliatory ballistic missile strikes and attacks on American bases and other sites in countries across the Middle East, with Iran so far attacking Bahrain, Iraq, Israel, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, goes on, Qatar, UAE. So again, this is obviously a widespread issue going on, as we've talked about it would be. Here's more video footage published by the Israeli Defense Forces showing strikes this morning against ballistic missile launch sites, in western Iran that they've posted. Here's third, thick black smoke seen rising from the impact location of ballistic missile fired from Iran in Manama, the capital of Bahrain. Let's dive into this. And again, it's been widely reported by people, and it's pretty clear that Iran's not doing themselves any favors here by the positions that they're attacking. It seems to be that it stands that a lot of these surrounding neighbors will likely come together in some way, some sort, some fashion. Against these strikes, against these places right here, considering the places that we're now seeing in retaliatory strikes against the U.S. and Israeli strikes. Several major oil companies and trading houses have been suspended. Oil fuel shipments through the Straits of Hormuz as a result of this morning's exchange of fire between Israel, Iran, and the United States, according to 4 trading sources who spoke to Reuters, just to show some of the secondary impacts of these strikes. The UAE Ministry of Defense has announced that successful interception of a second wave of ballistic missiles fired by Iran, with fragments falling on scattered areas of Abu Dhabi, including Saadiyat Island, Khalifa City, Banias, Mohammed bin Zayed City, and Al Falah. Again, here's some of the photos here from the missiles that were reportedly intercepted. Pieces flying everywhere. What's it say? Made in Germany. Another one of these pictures here. Again, we go on. What's this one? Massive clouds of black smoke billow from the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters at Naval Support Activity, Bahrain, in Jufair, a major district in the Manama, Bahrain. So this is another footage, another angle of the strike that we were just looking at here. And again, just to reiterate, this is where your sons, your daughters, your nieces, and your nephews are stationed all around the Middle East that have now just been put directly in harm's way by our Secretary of Defense, by the President of the United States himself. You can hear the secondary explosions in the background as well. Let's see here. Give me a second. Let's see if I can find this real quick. Combustion, meaning fuel, is not burning entirely. So that thick black smoke definitely telling us that, indicating that some fuel is not burning entirely, is creating soot, carbon particles in vehicles. So we're just trying to figure out what's going on. Likely petroleum, plastic, synthetic materials. So just kind of taking a look at what we could be looking at burning as far as that thick black smoke is telling us there. Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard has announced that the beginning of the Operation True Promise 4 is underway against the U.S. and Israel following the attack this morning. That's just an updated report from their media sources. Here is a video in oh, Jesus Christ. A video statement posted to True Social. President Donald Trump invokes the attacks against U.S. Marine in Beirut, Lebanon in 1983, USS Cole bombing in 2000, and the October 7th raid into Israel by Hamas, in explaining the rationale for striking Iran. That's as we saw in his kind of statement that he put out this morning. There's more indication of aircraft over the area. This is a response that I wanted to play for you here in a video. Interview. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps General Ebrahim Jabari has stated that missiles Iran is now sending towards U.S. forces are from the back of the stockpile, warning that the U.S. will soon see weapons we've never seen before. Again, rhetoric that will directly put your sons, daughters, and everybody else directly in harm's way. But again, was expected. And definitely wasn't a surprise as far as retaliatory rhetoric in response to the attacks carried out by the United States and Israel. So again, let's just see what these retaliatory threats sound like here.
ترامپ بداند ما برای اینکه سالها با شما بجنگیم از پیشرفته ترین امکانات امروز برخورداریم. اول جنگ.
Well, I'm going to say without some closed caption here, it's going to be very difficult to understand what the hell the guy's saying. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm good, but I'm not that good.
هرچی ته انبار داریم میزنیم. اما در ادامه قوی ترین موشک هامون رو خواهیم زد. اون چیزی رو که تا الان رو نکردیم و به قول ما بچه ایرانی ها تو آب نمک خوابوندیم اونها رو هم این روزا رو خواهیم کرد.
Well, one can only assume that he's saying something about weapons that he's never seen before and something about from the back of the stockpile. That's about the best I could get from that. My apologies. Here's another one of these updates that we were talking about as far as, targeted assassinations here. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Commander General Mohammed Pakpour and Iranian Defense Minister Amir Nazaret excuse me if I'm butchering these names, and I do apologize if I am, were killed in Israeli strikes in Iran this morning, according to sources to Reuters. Again, two of the people that we were talking about earlier, seemingly with updates coming from there. Again, here's a statement from Keir Starmer as far as British military planes in the sky over the Middle East as part of a defense operation. Again, I'll let him kind of bring it out here. Let him talk.
Our support and solidarity to them as part of our commitments to the security of our allies in the Middle East. We have a range of defensive capabilities in the region, which we've recently strengthened. Our forces are active, and British planes are in the sky today as part of coordinated regional defensive operations to protect our people, our interests, and our allies, as Britain has done before, in line with international law. We've stepped up protections for British bases and personnel to their highest level. We are also reaching out to UK nationals in the region and doing everything we can to support them. Our support and solidarity.
I mean, judging by that clip, it seems like the defense of his own, military assets is something that is quite on the forefront of his mind, considering who undertook these strikes and basically his defense posture in this. You know what I mean? But thank you, No Money G. I appreciate that, Five. I really do. No Money G says, appreciate you coming on to cover this shit show, Nightmare News. That's what we do here, and that's what we're going to continue to do, is keep everybody filled in. Like I said, I woke up like you guys woke up, hearing about the news as well. So it's not like I'm any further ahead of you guys, just trying to catch up, just like you guys are trying to catch up on the news. So I figured we'd do it together. I appreciate you guys being here. Sorry that this is the subject. This is the topic of today's, kind of breaking news update. But this is the reality. This is what's taking place in the world. So this is what we have to cover. This is Iranian ballistic missile has reportedly hit the Palm Hotel and Resort in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The UAE does host, some U.S. forces south of Dubai near Abu Dhabi at the Al Dhafra Air Base. So again, let's take a look at this. I think it's just a short clip, couple seconds, 20 seconds here. Let me see if I can play this.
Quickly. Let's move quickly. Oh my God. Okay, I hope no people there.
And again, that was just video from a strike at the Palm Hotel and Resort in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. And again, we go on here with further video and photographic evidence of what's been taking place. Damage visible at Kuwait International Airport following an Iranian ballistic missile attack. You can see that on the screen here. We go on. As we continue to monitor the situation in Mexico. No, that's one of the... so this was probably... Let me see. I'll do a refresh, see if there's any other updates since we got on here. But if not, we can see if we can take a look at some of the ongoing live news coverage. That seems to be the last from OSINT Defender on that one. And again, we were taking a look here as kind of a live look at the skies over Tel Aviv. There were some interceptions earlier. The sirens were going off earlier. I haven't seen anything as the sirens going off earlier. I'm not sure if this moment captures any interceptions or anything. I just know that there was the moments that the air raid sirens were going off. But there have been photographs and video coming up of interceptions in that area as well. Let's see if we can dive back into the CNN, and I'll see if we can take a look at some live coverage here as this continues on your screen. If it continues on your screen.
Taking place. But this morning, that diplomatic track was completely cast aside in favor of this military action by the United States and Israel. We heard from President Trump making clear that this is not just about going after Iran's ballistic missile and nuclear programs, but setting the conditions for regime change. And we have heard similar comments as well from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We know now that Israel is at a very heightened state of awareness. Most Israelis are either in their bomb shelters or very close by, awaiting the ramifications of this, as we are already watching Iran launch missiles not only here, but at other sites across the Middle East. Victor?
Jeremy Diamond for us there in Tel Aviv. We will get back to you in just a few moments. President Trump is monitoring the strikes from his Mar-a-Lago resort, and he calls on Iranians to stand up to their government and warns the fight could put American lives in danger. He also says the U.S. has done everything it can to keep American troops safe in the region. Earlier, President Trump explained the mission behind the operation.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries.
All right, let's bring in CNN's Elena Treen. She's reporting from Palm Beach, Florida. Elena, the president said on Friday that he was not happy with where the talks were with Iran, and now we're seeing the consequences of that.
Absolutely. And I think you're right to point out that the context of all of this is incredibly important. We had been hearing of Victor in recent days, really in the lead up until this strike, these strikes this morning, the president saying that he wanted diplomacy. He was hoping a deal could be reached. And from all the conversations I had with people at the White House, that was sincere. But of course, at the same time, you saw the Trump administration and the president directly order the most massive military buildup in the region.
It's like, oh, that's what he was saying behind the scenes, but everything he was doing in front of the cameras and everything he was doing with the military suggested otherwise. That's basically what they're coming out and saying.
And since essentially the 2003 war with Iraq. And so that leverage was there. And I think a lot of people were waiting to see whether the president would move on that. And of course, he did. I also found it very remarkable just to see the president in that video statement, giving it and releasing it on social media, having that be the way that he delivered it. But look, there's a couple of things I took away, Victor, from those remarks from the president. One is that he said that this is going to be a massive and ongoing operations. And that comes as sources are telling our colleague Zach Cohen and I that...
Well, again, much like we said, this wasn't going to be a Caracas-like Venezuela Maduro capture going in with low, slow helicopters. We were going to be in and out, bing, bang, boom. Nobody kind of, nobody's, kind of even woke up, so to speak. It didn't take that long. But this is going to be what they're suggesting, a days long, which can only talk about, we can only kind of, think about how long that can actually be. We've heard many times before. These things were going to take, 24 hours, 48 hours. Next thing you know, we're in there fucking 10, 20 years. We've spent trillions and trillions of dollars. But again, just us saying that this is going to be multiple days of this ongoing just goes to show you not only the risk to our own military personnel, but the risk and definite, casualties we're going to see to the civilian population in the areas surrounding these strikes. I mean, this isn't a one-day thing. This isn't bing, bang, boom, in and out like we told you it was going to be.
The United States is
like we instructed, like they said it was going to be.
Planning for there to be several attacks or several days of attacks. This is going to be a long operation and could ultimately be, the largest military operation the president has ever overseen, including during his first term. But another moment that I found very striking as well is that he essentially and effectively called for regime change in Iran. The president said in those remarks, quote, "When we are finished, take over your government." That was a message.
He quite clearly called for it. What are we talking about here? He quite clearly called for it.
Directly to the Iranian people. It will be yours to take. This will probably be your only chance for generations. That is a huge statement, particularly as...
It's a fucking insane statement by a crazy person that's in the Epstein files. Can we talk about this like it actually is happening? Like, this guy's a fucking nut job. I hate how we continue to talk about this as if it's like, he's a fucking crazy lunatic that's a liar, a con man, and a fraudster. But in this instance, anytime we talk about the military, we're going to talk about it as if these actions are legitimate. Like he has legitimate reasoning and legitimate fucking plans behind these. You know what I mean? It's fucking ridiculous. Stupid in this instance, we're gonna be like Chuck Schumer. Oh, Joe, just give him the ability to say his case to the American. Fuck you. Absolutely fucking not. I don't care what his case is. He's a lying sack of shit. I don't believe anything that comes out of his fucking mouth anyway. Who cares what he says? Doesn't fucking matter at this point. You should know that more than anybody. You know what I mean? Did the 30,000 lies he told in the first fucking term not tell you that we shouldn't fucking listen to what he says? Not care what he says? He's a fucking criminal. He's a degenerate fucking criminal. So no, we're not going to listen to his plans here. No, we're not going to listen to his fucking justification for a days, weeks long, months long, years long fucking war with Iran, killing God knows how many people already in these fucking strikes. I mean, the bodies are stacking up as far as the Trump and fucking regime is concerned, right? Everybody's like, well, he's not fucking like Hitler. He's not like Hitler. He's not like, he doesn't want to kill people. Well, fucking guess what? The body count's stacking up, motherfuckers. Between the Venezuelan boat strikes, between all the fucking kids that are going to die because of the cuts in cancer research funding, right? Between fucking COVID, over 1 million dead in this country. I mean, all of the fucking incursions, all of the fucking drone strikes all over the fucking world that he's undertaken so far. The bodies are fucking stacking up pretty goddamn quick here. As far as in comparison with other dictators, with other authoritarians, with other fucking maniacal fucking maniacs that have led countries. So guess what? This fucking, oh, you're being hyperbolic. Don't compare him to Hitler. Fuck you. How about that? How about you take your fucking hyperbole and stick it straight up your ass if you don't believe what I'm saying? Take a look at the body count. Take a look at the body bags. You know, Gaza, all of the people that were allowed to continue to be dead, killed in Gaza. And to this day, continue to be killed. So don't tell me that the fucking body count isn't stacking up in relation to history in different dictatorial fucking authoritarian regimes. Because it's fucking up there.
Really, over the past year or so, ever since the president went into office for his second term, all of his top advisors were trying not to say that directly. And even though the president didn't say it directly, he came as close as he ever really has to acknowledging that one of the goals in this larger operation is to potentially see if the Iranian people can use this weakened state that the regime now finds itself in.
I'm going to dive in here to the BBC coverage here. I believe this is live coverage. I want to see if there's any news, new information to come out since we've popped on here. If there's any sound that I could put on, would be fantastic. That'd be great.
The authorities there say 4 people have been injured after an incident at the Palm Jumeirah, which is a sort of man-made island with hotels and so on. The government of Dubai's media office says an incident occurred in a building on the Palm Jumeirah, in the Palm Jumeirah area. Emergency response teams were sent to the scene, and the resulting fire is now under control. It's not clear exactly what Iran was targeting, apparently, but there is a U.S. military presence in the country. And we know that with a lot of the other countries that Iran has targeted in its response to the coordinated strikes from the Americans and from Israel, they have gone after countries that have a significant U.S. military presence. So that news coming out of Dubai of some sort of attack there involving injuries to 4 people. Katrina.
Okay, thanks, Clive. And I suppose that's just one example of when we're hearing these warnings from many of the international leaders, an appeal for de-escalation and a return to diplomacy. That's a hotel in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, of course, a substantial.
Yeah, that's this place, of course, in case anybody isn't familiar with what we're talking about. That's this resort here, the man-made resort there that's been struck. And I think that was the same video that we played from the young lady that was driving by, and you can see the fire in the kind of, the pull-up parking spot there out in front. So I do believe they reported that there was 4 injured in that strike specifically. Let me see if I go on here.
Expat population. So the risk of this spreading and involving other countries continuing with every passing moment. We are keeping an eye on things here, though. The Democrats calling for an emergency meeting as well. They want answers from the president and the administration. So far, though, we're not getting those. We have that one statement from the White House press secretary, and we'll be looking towards the administration statements at that UN Security Council briefing a little bit later on in the day. Let's go back across to London now to Christian.
Oh, hold on.
Thank you very much.
The air sirens are going back off. Let me see. This is over Tel Aviv. I do believe, unless they've switched cameras. Last time they said this was over Tel Aviv. False alarm. Curious when the most recent one was that they caught on camera there. All right, so let's see if we can go back to the BBC here.
Continue to cover all the events across what is a very fast-moving situation in the Middle East, but there are all sorts of military questions that I'm sure many of you currently have. So we brought Mikey Kay along, our military analyst, co-host from the Security Brief. There is quite an informative YouTube video that we put out about the situation across the region, which you might want to take a look at. But there's a lot happened since we recorded that, notably this morning, and the strikes in Iran. So let's talk about, first of all, the targets. We were told that the Ayatollah was a target. What do we know about that?
We spoke about that at length as being one of the sort of courses of action, if you like, is going after the high-value leadership, HVTs, high-value targets. We do know that there's verified footage of the residence of the Ayatollah being hit. Highly unlikely that the Ayatollah is obviously going to be in there. And we saw video footage this morning of Tomahawk land attack missiles going across Iraq.
Is it weird to anybody that the Iranian leadership wouldn't be in positions where they couldn't be struck? Like, not, I mean, this isn't, we've been talking about this was coming. They must know this was coming. Their intelligence must have fucking known something like this was coming. So it's strange to me that they would be in these compounds that they're known to be at, and they wouldn't be in, safe areas and, areas probably unknown to certain people. You know what I'm saying? It just, I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like they were at all prepared. Again, if these are confirmed, if these reports are confirmed, if they're accurate, if the strikes and the assassinations have indeed taken out the people that they have claimed to take it out, just begs the question: why the fuck weren't they better prepared? Why weren't they in a place where, again, they couldn't be, targeted, basically? You know what I mean? But again, secondary questions.
Likely launched from cruisers or destroyers from the Gerald Ford Carrier Strike Group or from submarines. But the TLAM is the weapon of choice. It's got about 1,000 miles plus range on the Block 4 variant. Block 4 basically just means...
Sorry, does that say on the bottom, Iranian Supreme Leader to give speech shortly? Weren't they discussing, was I wrong? Were they just discussing the Supreme Leader and being struck in his house? Because it says on the bottom right there, on the bottom ticker, Iranian Supreme Leader to give speech shortly. That'd be difficult. I'd say that'd be pretty difficult if he was struck inside his home. But again, it goes on.
It's the latest variant. But you can also put a steel penetrator on the front of the TLAM, which allows it to penetrate command and control nodes, for example, or bunkers where the Ayatollah might be in. Now, in order for those strikes to be successful, we've spoken about this a lot, you need pretty reliable intelligence. And as we saw with the Maduro operation, that comes in 3 variants. So you've got human intelligence,
Let's see if this
and we
gives
do
us
know
any
that there are
further
vast
information.
networks of Mossad working inside Iran that have infiltrated Iran's intelligence channels. So it would be highly likely that the Israelis are sharing that intelligence with the US in order to put those...
Let me see what this gives us here. I'm just trying to flip through different things.
Israel have launched a joint attack on Iran, with President Donald Trump declaring major combat operations are underway. In Tehran this morning, smoke rose above the city with major damage seen in the capital, while other cities across the country were also targeted. The US president vowed to obliterate Iran's nuclear weapons capabilities.
Again.
It's understood the UK is not involved in what America has dubbed...
It's not a laughing matter. Believe me, I'm not laughing at what you think. But the ridiculousness of the statements of to continue to come out and say you're going to obliterate something that you already claimed to have obliterated. Like, what was that, a month ago? Like, how do you obliterate something twice in 1 month? You know what I mean? Like, how is that fucking possible? You know what I'm talking about? Like, how good are these Iranians at rebuilding the nuclear program? If you obliterated it a month ago, and now here we're just talking about obliterating it again.
Operation Epic Fury. Israel is calling it Operation Lion's Roar, and sirens rang out there as it declared a state of emergency, and people took shelter from Iranian missiles fired in retaliation. Explosions were also seen across several other countries in the region where the US has military bases. There were explosions in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, with one person reported killed as debris fell on a residential area of Abu Dhabi. Well, in a video released this morning, President Trump warned the US could suffer casualties and appeared to support regime change in Tehran, urging Iranians to continue for as long as necessary.
The objective of the operation is to put an end to the threat from the Ayatollah regime in Iran. At this time, the IDF is attacking targets of the oppressive regime, facilities of the Revolutionary Guard, along with the United States military, targeting ballistic missile sites that threaten both Israel and US forces.
Well, our senior international correspondent, John Irvine, is in Tel Aviv. John, a lot has happened this morning, hasn't it? What is the situation like there in Israel right now?
Faye, good afternoon from Tel Aviv, which is as quiet as I've ever seen it, particularly on a Saturday. Nobody is on the streets. Everyone is staying at home or very close to home. The mood, I think, is a mixture of apprehension and stoicism. Every hour or so far today, an air raid siren has sounded. But what is different between now and what happened last June is the number of Iranian ballistic missiles coming this way is down. We're talking about the Iranians firing dozens of missiles towards Israel rather than the hundreds we saw fired in salvos during the 12-day war back in June. And there are no reports.
Just gonna keep diving between different reports and different channels that we're getting here.
Changing the map, changing the world. As President Trump and the administration are talking about regime change, what does this all mean for the Middle East and U.S. involvement in the days ahead?
Well, I certainly think one thing that everybody has to look at, and in many ways, President Trump wants to do the same thing. They want regime change. That would change the Middle East. That would change the world. The problem is we don't know who would take over. Benjamin Netanyahu also said this bombing campaign will go on until the terrorist threat is eliminated. President Trump has said he wants the nuclear weapons.
Very similar rhetoric to Gaza, to Palestine, right? Very similar to what we were hearing there. We're going to continue this as long as possible, as long as it takes, as long as necessary to eliminate the entire threat here. So again, is this being a days-long campaign, a weeks-long campaign, a months-long campaign, a years-long campaign? Sounds very similar to what we heard, not all that long ago.
Program killed completely, wants to annihilate the Navy, and he wants the regime change. Now, I think one of the things that we're really watching closely is whether or not the Ayatollah was killed and the president of Iran were killed. The Israelis have exquisite intelligence. They likely knew exactly where the Ayatollah was and where the president was. We know that their compounds in the area were bombed. We have seen imagery from that. The Airbus imagery that the New York Times was able to get showed the Ayatollah's compound with lots of rubble inside of that. Normally, I think he would not be there overnight. They are probably moving around, given the threat. But because this came in the daytime, and it has really never happened before that you have a daytime strike like that, It is possible. But the big question is what is next. You can see that compound there and the smoke rising from there. And that is a big hole in that compound. So if he was even nearby, it's possible he was injured. The Iranians, of course, say that's not true. We'll have to wait and see about that. Are they trying to wipe out the senior leadership? All of this would change the map of the Middle East, depending on what happens next, depending on the success of this. You can't just say to a population, lay down.
Apparently, one
We've seen
second.
thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of protesters.
Apparently, this is the footage that she's speaking about here. United States and Israel launched an attack Saturday on Iran, with the first apparent strike happening near the offices of Iranian leader Ali Khamenei. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger on your screen. So I believe that's the footage that she was just referencing there.
Millions and millions of hardliners in that country that do not want change. And will there be clashes between those two factions? That is also something to watch. But I know that the Israelis have had great success with their
But like she brought up
intelligence
at the beginning, what is stopping this from just being another Maduro type situation? And when whoever takes over, if regime change does take place, is even more, aggressive towards the United States, is even more ready and willing to stock up on a nuclear stockpile to make sure that this type of shit can't happen again, so that they speed things up even further. Who knows that the nationalists, the hardline people in the fucking, behind the government aren't going to be the ones to win out in a civil war if that takes place when the government goes down. You know what I mean? So there's no guarantees here that with everything that we're expending, everybody that we take out, all the U.S. forces that could be possibly killed in these missions, that even leads to the goal that we want to see happen, which is, inevitably an Iranian leadership that is more agreeable on the world stage, that is more, you can work with them, you know what I mean? That type of thing. But we can't guarantee that anything like that happens. Like we saw in Venezuela, we just continued the Maduro regime, right? It's just not with Maduro. It's the people that were under him. It's the incompetent, it's the corrupt, it's the same fucking dangerous people that were under him the same, but they're still there doing the same fucking shit. You know what I mean? So in this position, it's like there's no guarantees with how many people we put in danger with all the strikes that we take, conduct, all the people that we take out, that we're even going to get what we want to get. And it's crazy to think that we have the ability to go in there, bomb them to shit, and then just instruct the entire population to say, hey, pick up your guns, pick up your weapons, your knives, and your batons, and head towards the fucking government. You know what I mean? Take that shit over. You may die. You probably will die and be shot in retaliation. Lots of people are going to be dead. But boy, are we instructing you to do it. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? It's 2026, people.
I mentioned earlier that I have been there when the Iranians are showing the cars that got blown up by the Israelis of nuclear scientists. Those cars, they put explosive on the very side of those cars. This was a display they had of the cars. You can see that the cars themselves are not that damaged, and yet they were able to kill numerous nuclear scientists. We also saw in 2024 after the October.
Wow, so it's like Martha's giving Israel some real fucking pats on the back here for their ability to kill people. She's really going ham here and patting them on the ass, being like, oh, look at the extravagant work. Look at this fucking beautiful work they do. They didn't even damage the vehicles that much, and they're able to kill these people. They have exquisite intelligence. Well, did their exquisite intelligence tell them what the fuck was going to take place in Gaza? How was that exquisite intelligence? Huh? Fucking idiots. Can't stand these fucking people. Any of them. They're all fucking morons. They're all degenerates. They're all fucking bloodthirsty. Let's see if we can find out any other updates that have taken place without listening to that fucking horse shit. Can't stand these fucking people. I really can't. That's why I started this. That's why I did. It's like you can't stand listening to these people yourself. You got to do it. You got to do it. All right, let's see if we can find out some other updates as to what's going on. Oh, man. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. I'm going to let you go in about 5 minutes. That way I don't overlap on Hal's morning show. You guys can head over there. I'm sure he'll be speaking about this as well. Let me just dive on here, see if I can Iran updates. See if we can get the latest and greatest as far as updates are concerned here, just so you guys are as informed and up to date. Let's see here. Iran becomes the first country to strike Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Jordan, Bahrain, and Qatar in a single day. Let's see here. This is 2 hours ago from ABC. The death toll. The toll from a strike on a girls'... let me put this on the screen. My apologies. The toll from a strike on a girls' elementary school we talked about earlier in Manab, Iran, has risen to 57 students dead and 60 others injured, according to Iran's semi-official Tasnim news agency, which cited the local governor. Follow live updates here. Again, just to show some of the atrocities and some of the, the reports of the death tolls coming in here from some of these strikes. Here's another one from the same thing. An Israeli strike at an elementary girls' school in Manab, located on the Hormozgan province of southern Iran, killed 5 students. Obviously, that was the preliminary report there. It got worse, obviously, since then. And then just some more kind of updates. The impact site of Iranian missile in Dubai has been reported. That is probably in the palms, like we saw earlier. So that's the same one that we saw earlier from a different angle. Just kind of going through the latest here. Gonna sift through the bullshit. What's this one? 3 minutes ago, Iran's foreign minister says the situation in Iran is under control as military operations in the region continue. Not sure how correct that is. A video geolocated by CNN shows the moment a missile struck near the U.S. Navy base in Bahrain. In this video, large explosion can be heard. A large plume of smoke is seen rising from the area around the base. Follow live for updates. Let's see if we can put this on. I think this is another angle of the video that we were playing with the large plume of black smoke. So obviously from I believe it was the Navy's 5th fleet, if I'm getting that correct. So again, that is on U.S. Navy forces in Bahrain. Let's see here if there's anything else that we can get you to. I'm keeping my eye on the time. This is the video that we played earlier where they're threatening weapons that we've never seen before. What's this one here? The Telegraph, new anti-regime protests have erupted. Oh, that's earlier. That's February 22nd. So again, let's see here. I don't know. Looks like we've kind of gone through most of the updates here that we could go through. How can I not get out of this? Why am I not? No, that's all right. So I'll just type in one more time, updates. If we can't get anything else here for you, I'll let you guys go so you can head on to some of the other coverage from this, some of the other shows here. Head on to Hal's show. Check out his radio show that's coming up. Let's see here. I'll throw this on the screen. Updates, latest 5 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 4 hours ago. Let's see, is CNN live still? Let's see if we go to CNN. See if they have any updates before I go. CNN News Live. Are they live or are they not live? Doesn't look like they're live. Anybody covering this? Does anybody care? Hello? Anybody besides me? Anybody out there? Share this tab instead. Preston Stewart's got a video. Let's see if we dive into a minute of this.
So it looks like the war has begun, and this time it's all or nothing. The United States and Israel appear to be aiming for regime change in Iran, with rumors already coming out that Supreme Leader Khamenei has been killed. Meanwhile, Iranian drones and missiles continue to rain down all across the Middle East, and some of them are getting through. I mean, this is a video from just a few hours ago showing an Iranian Shahed-style drone striking a radar station at the U.S. naval base in Bahrain. This is a major facility, the head of U.S. 5th Fleet. And the reason I'm showing that is because this time is different. We're not seeing these symbolic tit-for-tat retaliations with the goal of reestablishing deterrence and avoiding escalation. This is Iran throwing everything they have at the United States.
I mean, it does beg the question as to the effectiveness of the air defenses in the region. I mean, if we're supposed to be on high alert, if we're supposed to be the ones initiating the attacks, then we're supposed to be the ones that have the element of surprise, so to speak. And not only that, but should be ready for the retaliatory strikes that would inevitably come. So I don't understand how, in this case, that a base of that much importance in that area could again be allowed to have struck like that when we've seen multiple interceptions, let's say, over Tel Aviv. Like, wouldn't you believe that all of the air defenses that we have would be in place to make sure that something like this doesn't happen? So again, begs the question as to like the readiness, the preparedness, and the actual effectiveness of our military leadership in having these, you know, these places, these bases prepared for, again, the retaliation that they knew was going to come. They knew it was going to come. I knew it was going to come because the Iranian leadership said it was going to come if they were attacked. So again, to allow this, to see video like this, it again begs the question as to why the air defense systems, the air defense wasn't as capable as it was typically said to be.
And Israel threatening a broader regional war. The Iranian regime views this as their last stand, which is probably why in his address to the American people last night, President Trump warned that this operation very well could cost the lives of America's sons and daughters. Let's turn to President Trump announcing this operation last night.
Exactly. That was a drone,
We're just going to play a couple clips.
That was a Shahed. So huge difference between ballistic missiles and small, slow drones. Again, the video that we just saw wasn't of a ballistic missile. You know what I mean? So we can go back real quick. Here's the video here.
U.S. naval base in Bahrain. This is a major Iranian drones and missiles continue to rain down all across the Middle East, and some of them are getting through. I mean, this is a video from just a few hours ago showing an Iranian Shahed-style drone.
I mean, look at that. That is not something that's flying, Mach speed there. That's not something that should be that difficult to take out. Again, if you have these, ultra fucking, these intelligent, these ultra effective, technologically advanced air defense systems that we're supposed to be claiming to have as being the best military on the planet, the strongest and most capable military on the planet. This seems to be something that would definitely be taken out quite easily if we had those capabilities ready and manned and ready to go as far as the retaliatory strikes are concerned. So Farazan is absolutely right as far as that is concerned. So I appreciate you guys in the chat. You ready?
Striking a radar station.
I mean, again, it's not like that's something in the blink of an eye is going to pass by you and you just didn't see it coming. The radar didn't pick it up.
At the U.S. naval base in Bahrain. This is a major facility.
All right. So I don't want to go over. I'm going to send you guys off. Let me thank everybody here that was kind enough to send in some donations real quick for today. Jin, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Thank you so much, Deb, for the 5 gifted. Bald Thanos, thank you so much. What's the price of oil currently? Let me see here. Let me see. Oil price currently. Oil price currently. Crude oil prices, that's 22 hours ago. What is the price of oil doing right now? WTI crude, 67.70 plus 3.9, it says. Brent crude. Again, you'll probably have to ask somebody with more knowledge of this and where to look as far as what it's doing currently. I wouldn't really know exactly where to look, what it's doing by second. These updates are from some time ago, so I apologize. Let's see if I can have some more answers later in the day for that update for you, Baldano. So I appreciate you, though. Thank you, Linda Lou, for the 5 gifted memberships. Very much appreciate you guys taking care of me like you do. Thank you, Dame Dog. We're going to need a bigger swedge. Yes, we are. We'll be covering this for a long time to come, I'm sure. Thank you, Dame. Thank you, Cool Breeze. Member for 20 months. Let's go. I am physically sick over this. Impeach now. Again, if there was ever a reason to do so. Sorry, I'm sweating covering this. It's a lot going on. A lot try to cover. So I appreciate you, Cool Breeze. Exactly what I need at this moment is a Cool Breeze. So isn't that ironic? Don't you think? But yeah, physically sick over this. Impeach now. But we'll see what the response is here from our leadership or lack thereof. But I appreciate you, Cool Breeze. Thank you, No Money G, for the 5. Appreciate you coming on to cover this shit show nightmare news. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, Wayne, very much for the 10. Thank you, Rox, as always, for being here, for making sure that chat stays a safe place, and also for gifting the 5 memberships. You guys are fantastic. Thank you to Moms as well. Guess I hit another milestone. Yes, you did, because you're amazing. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. That was just a little bit of an update, just trying to cover as much as I could as far as videos, clips, news articles, whatever it took to kind of get us up to speed on what's been taking place. But the war with Iran has started, unfortunately, and we'll be covering it for quite some time to come. And I hope you join us here at Blunt Politics for that coverage upcoming. And I'll let you go. Go check out Hal Sparks on his radio show coming up in about a minute. So I appreciate you guys. Tell Hal I said what's up. Tell him everybody over here at Blunt Politics wishes him well, wishes him and Summer well. And we appreciate him and thank you. Hope he has a good show. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you later. Thank you, moms, again on the way out for my grandchildren and daughter. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'll have to pass that along and you'll have to tell me who that's for because I'm quite unsure at the moment. But I do appreciate you. All right. Much love to the mods. Much love to the best chat on earth. I don't want to overstep my boundaries here, so I'm going to let you guys go. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Again, tell Hal I said what's up. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the main show where we'll be going over much more of this, much more of the war, much more of the retaliation, and what we can look at and what can we expect to come from this. All right, I'm out of here. I'll see you later. Tell Hal I said hi.
God bless the United States.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.
I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it.
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
Always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit that he's taller than me, he's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
Oh, I understand, moms. I got you, moms. I got them right there with you. Wishing them the best. Hoping that everybody that has somebody now serving in the U.S. Armed Forces in the area to remain safe. Vibes going to all those serving right now. So, yeah, moms, I get you on that one. Appreciate you.
Army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. The big, fat, sloppy United